In this video, I'm going to react to the new A-10 Super Warthog. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. This is the place where I react to music, media, sports, anime, anything related to popular culture. I'll watch it with an open mind and give you my 100% honest reaction to it. And if you could please hit that like button early, I'd really appreciate it. Now, this is genuinely going to be fun for me because the A-10 Warthog, I reacted to this plane about maybe 2 months ago, and it just packs one hell of a punch. I mean, it's just the amount of weapons on it. You just would not want to be on the wrong side of that plane. If you were like the enemy forces and you just saw that thing in the sky, I mean, just run for cover, but then, say your final prayers because it's highly likely that thing is going to end you, man. And to know that there's a new, improved, upgraded variant of it on the way, I just need to see it. So let's go. This is going to be me reacting to the new Super A-10 Warthog. Let's do it. That sound, that...
Did the U.S. Air Force plan to build a Super A-10 Warthog? The Air Force A-10 replacement strategy could involve building a new plane, adjusting an existing aircraft, or merely upgrading the A-10 itself.
I mean, the A-10 is still so effective at what it does, so I don't think a redesign would even be necessary unless, the funds were available for it. You could just upgrade it, in a few different ways.
The A-10 was designed around the General Electric GAU A8 Avenger 30mm cannon and its 7 barrels, which are able to dish out devastating punishment to armor. Over the years, the Warthog's 11 hardpoints have evolved from carrying dumb iron bombs and rockets to hauling the latest guided ordnance. The A-10 Warthog ground attack jet, already in the process of receiving new wings, is also set for a series of improvements including new weapons, cockpit upgrades, and helmet-mounted controls. Just 6 years ago, the U.S. Air Force was on the verge of culling its entire fleet of A-10 Thunderbolt IIs, better known as Warthogs.
Why?
In 2014, then U.S. Air Force Chief of Staff General Mark Welsh III said the Air Force had to retire the A-10 completely if it was to make substantial cuts to its budgets, and that it required freed-up funding and manpower to be channeled into the stand-up of the new F-35 units.
I see.
Welsh claimed divesting the close air support stalwart would save $3.7 billion across the 5-year Future Year Defense Program and another $500 million in cost avoidance for upgrades that wouldn't be necessary.
But the thing is, why do you need to divert funds to the F-35 program? I thought, because the F-35 is sold to international allies and partners, surely a lot of the cost of that program has been recouped. I would have thought, at least.
The Air Force is beginning to work on how fast, lethal, durable, and capable a new A-10-like aircraft would need to be in order to provide U.S. military ground troops with effective close air support for decades to come. Senior service officials are now exploring draft requirement concepts and evaluating the kind of avionics, engineering, weapons, armor, and technical redundancy the aircraft would need, Air Force officials told Scout Warrior.
From the front, it does look very menacing. These two engines, the way they're placed there, it's like looking down the barrel of two huge cannons.
Many of the core technical attributes and combat advantages of the A-10 will be preserved and expanded upon with the new effort, officials said. The performance of the A-10 Warthog in the ongoing bombing campaign against ISIS, coupled with the Air Force's subsequent decision to delay the aircraft's planned retirement, has led the service to begin the process of developing a new, longer-term A-10 type platform.
Those tanks got blown to smithereens.
Following an announcement earlier this year from Pentagon leaders that the A-10 will not begin retiring, but rather will serve until at least 2022, Air Force and DoD officials are now hoping to keep a close air support aircraft for many years beyond the previously projected timeframe. Given the emerging global threat environment, it would make sense that the Air Force would seek to preserve an aircraft such as the A-10. While the aircraft has been extremely successful attacking ISIS targets such as fuel convoys and other assets, the A-10 is also the kind of plane that can carry and deliver a wide-ranging arsenal of bombs to include larger laser-guided and precision weapons.
Because I mean, even if like the A-10 isn't upgraded, even if there isn't a new super variant introduced, just surely the cost of maintaining the current fleet of A-10s isn't going to be so huge to become an obstacle in the progress of other programs. You know, couldn't you just keep the current A-10s? You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, unless I'm missing something.
This kind of firepower, coupled with its 30mm cannon, titanium armor plates, and built-in redundancy for close air support, makes the A-10 a valuable platform for potential larger-scale mechanized force-on-force type warfare as well. The A-10 has a unique and valuable niche role to perform in the widest possible range of combat scenarios to include counterinsurgency, supporting troops on the ground in close proximity, and bringing firepower, protection, and infantry supports to a large-scale war. Air Force officials have told Scout Warrior that the current approach involves a three-pronged effect. The Air Force may consider simply upgrading the existing fleet of A-10s in a substantial way in order to extend its service life,
which is what I would recommend,
acquire an off-the-shelf existing aircraft, or develop a new close air support platform through a developmental effort.
The front of it.
We are developing that draft requirements document. We are staffing it around the Air Force now. When it's ready, we will compare that to what we have available, compare it to keeping the A-10, compare it to what it would take to replace it with another airplane, and we will work through that process, Lieutenant General James Holmes, Deputy Chief of Staff for Strategic Plans and Requirements, told reporters several months ago. Holmes went on to explain that the service was,
man, the engine is so big. The guy's, whole torso is able to fit in there. I mean, imagine this thing was going at full pace. He would just get sucked in and just vaporized, wouldn't he?
Broadly speaking, exploring ways to achieve, preserve, and sustain air superiority in potential long-term, high-end combat engagements. He added that considerations about a close air support replacement aircraft figured prominently in the strategic calculus surrounding these issues. As a result, the Air Force will be looking for the optimal type of close air support platform by weighing various considerations, such as what the differences might be between existing aircraft and future developmental platforms. Cost and affordability will also be a very large part of the equation when it comes to making determinations about an A-10 replacement, Holmes explained.
Of course.
The question is exactly where is the sweet spot, as we talked about, between what's available now and what the optimum CAS replacement would be. We are working along that continuum to see exactly what the requirement is that we can afford and the numbers that
it's very maneuverable, like very, very nimble in the air.
We need to be able to do the mission, Holmes added. Several industry platforms such as Raytheon's TX plane and the A-29 Embraer EMB Super Tucano aircraft are among options being looked at as things which could potentially be configured for a close air support plane. Having the requisite funds to support this would be of great value to the Air Force. Former Air Force Chief of Staff General Mark Welsh told lawmakers that, despite the prior plan, the service did not want to retire the A-10.
I can see why you wouldn't want to, and I don't think you should either, unless the cost of keeping them, battle ready is just so huge and, that it doesn't make sense to continue.
Prior plans to retire the fleet of A-10s were purely budget-driven, senior Air Force leaders have consistently said. "I don't want to retire it," Welsh told a congressional committee in early March. Air Force leaders had previously said that the emerging multi-role F-35 would be able to pick up the close air support mission. With its sensor technology, 25mm gun, and maneuverability, there is little question about whether the F-35 could succeed with these kind of missions. At the same time, there's also consensus that the A-10 provides an extremely unique set of battlefield attributes which need to be preserved for decades.
Yeah, I think the A-10 has more weapons on it than the F-35. Look at all those dials, man. So many dials. Such a cool plane. Such a cool plane, man. Honestly, I don't think I'll ever get over the noise it makes when it's firing that 30mm. Just that, it's almost like a chainsaw. I think I've said this in other videos about the A-10. It literally sounds like a chainsaw that's just buzzing, that's getting closer to you. Yeah, I don't think you should retire it. Keep it around for as long as possible. It's been so successful based on, what I've heard. Like, so long as the running costs of it aren't prohibitive, it just doesn't make sense to develop a whole new aircraft to replace it, because that cost is going to be huge unless there's something already in the works where a lot of the R&D's already been taken care of. They did mention that the F-35 could step in for it, but I don't think the F-35 has the variety of armament that the A-10 has. Yeah, the A-10, man, beast of a plane. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, and keep throwing the recommendations my way. I know I say it all the time, but they genuinely help me out, because if I know you enjoyed watching something, I'll definitely enjoy reacting to it. So like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, keep throwing the recommendations, and I'll catch you in the next one.